Hello and welcome to Seminary Reacts, where we ask seminary professors to react to Reddit questions and stories. Today, I am joined by Professor Allan Rudy-Froese. Welcome to the podcast today.
It's great to be here, Amy. Yeah.
So, you're a professor. What do you teach?
I teach preaching, and I teach biblical storytelling, and I teach a voice class, and I teach what a course we call LEAP, Leadership Education in Anabaptist Perspective. And it's a course that all incoming students take. It's kind of it's kind of Seminary 101. And I coordinate it and I do some of the teaching, but most of the teaching is done by kind of everybody else. And then I teach a course called Play and Rest, Spiritual Practices of Play and Rest.
So as a professor on preaching, teaching preaching, I mean, you must be asked to preach in lots of places.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's good news because our first question is going to be related to that. So our first question of today comes from the subreddit r/askapastor, and the question is, how many compliments or criticisms do you typically get after preaching a sermon? So after you preach a sermon on a Sunday, how many people compliment you or, heaven forbid, criticize you about it, excluding people who you greet after the service? For example, how many people email you and mention how good the sermon was? And this person is saying, the sermon this morning was great, and I'd like to email the pastor to thank him. In my job, though, I hate getting compliments. If I do a good job, I'm just doing my job. Thanks.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the person is correct to say, the compliments you get on the way out of church are usually, they're not well developed. Part of it because everybody's walking so quickly. People just walk by and say thank you, thank you, thank you. But you don't get any good feedback there. Like you just get thank you, I liked it, thank you, I liked it. Right. I don't receive a lot of negative feedback from preaching that I do. I don't know a lot of preachers who do. Like, it does not happen a lot. Once in a while, there's a pastor I know who, but even in that case, it's one or two people who habitually come to the preacher on Tuesday or Wednesday and go, I don't know about that part you did, right? But most of the time, preachers would love feedback. So sending an email to your pastor, the preacher, for a good sermon, that's a great idea. But I would add to that, tell them why. Like, that's really good feedback for preacher. We don't often get very good feedback. And, we're getting feedback if we're doing it right, if we're preaching right, if I can say right.
Yeah.
No, at our best as preachers, we know what's happening because we're getting feedback as we're preaching, as we're looking out at people and noticing whether they're paying attention or not.
Or falling asleep.
Falling asleep. That always happens, though. There's always people who fall asleep. I'm always looking at the people who, and there's some people who just have poker faces. Like, they may love the sermon, but they're going to be this. But then there's other people who are very expressive, and those are the people I'm actually watching a lot when I'm preaching, because they will let me know if something is interesting or if something is a bit confusing, or and that's a powerful way to get some feedback. There's one of my friends did a doctoral study on sermon feedback forms that he found. So this happens in lots of different kinds of churches where people will, the pastor or the elders or the church council will have some people fill out a form during the sermon or right after.
Okay.
That helps the preacher, gives the preacher feedback. One of the issues is that there are so many of them out there getting at different things that it's really hard to nail down. So this friend of mine, his dissertation looked at 120 different sermon evaluation forms.
Wow.
That he found in different churches and seminaries. And so there's lots of different ways to evaluate a sermon or to to evaluate it positively or negatively.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. There's a comment on this post that sums up what a lot of other comments said. This person said, so this is, I guess, a pastor that's responding to this, or at least a preacher. They say, I appreciate a compliment, but someone saying, good job, pastor, doesn't really mean much to me, if I'm honest. What I appreciate a lot more is when someone lays out specific ways they felt like my sermon made them think about a topic or about their faith. That means I can have a conversation about something important to my parishioner rather than just saying, I like when you talk, which is a little bit awkward.
Yeah.
No,
That's all true. One of the in preaching courses that I do, one of the tools that we use for debriefing or having a conversation about a sermon, it's called the Liz Lerman process, and and it outlines four different kind of levels of conversation you can have, and this is really meant for a group. It's not really meant for two people sitting in a room and talking. It's broader than that, or for more people than that. But one of the things that she recommends is you never use the word like or love. Right? Like you can't, and she is a choreographer. So this wasn't just for preaching, this is for dance, any kind of art. I know lots of people who use this in business settings and writing sessions and so on. But yeah, for her, and I agree with what this person said, this preacher said, like and love mean pretty much nothing unless you can get below that or get around that in a way that helps explain it. So yeah, in Liz Lerman's process, you can't use the word like or love.
Yeah.
You have to get deeper than that.
That seems useful.
Yeah.
All right. We will move on to our second question. This one comes from the subreddit Christian, and the question itself is, how do I stop cussing? So this person says, this may sound a bit ridiculous, but I really struggle with this and find it extremely difficult to stop. I know it can be done because I do not use the Lord's name in vain anymore, but with other regular cuss words, it's so natural for me to use them. I'm 23 years old and have been using foul language for most of my time on earth, even when I was a kid. I think the problem is I don't often recognize this as a problem in the moment and only think about it later and realize that it was wrong. Has anything helped you guys to fix this bad habit? It really does make me sound like an idiot, and I fully recognize that, and it's not how I would like to be perceived. So what do you think about this?
There's a lot there.
Yeah.
Help me get back to some of the issues that are there, because I'm going to start somewhere else. That is, like, I think so that's really interesting. That taking the Lord's name in vain, for instance, is something that you've learned, that this person's learned to stop doing. That's sort of remarkable, actually, because swearing is a kind of verbal pattern that's pretty deep in our amygdala and in our hearts and in our heads, and to be able to stop a certain kind of swearing is hard to do. The person talks about feeling like they're an idiot. What I don't know about that is do they feel like an idiot in public or personal? Like one of the things I would say about, I mean, there's more than two different kinds of swearing, but I'll just say there's two for now. One of them is, you drop something, you're alone in your room or you're with your friends, and a glass drops on the floor, shatters, and you say a word, and it's a swear word. And I mean let's actually say you're alone. That's different than saying it with people in the room, because other people have noticed you say this now. But they may have the same reaction because something surprising has happened, and then there's a word that comes.
Right.
And it's it comes from a primal place where we are kind of afraid or surprised,
So
And
it's something that's just like a part of our biology.
it's part of our biology,
that
and
kind of
there's
reaction.
something there. Not everybody swears in that moment, but a lot of people do.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this is because you want this taboo word comes, right? And it may be darn,
Mm-hmm.
depending on your culture, right? Cultural, and even like local places. It's a very culturally defined word, but it's probably some sort of taboo word. My grandpa used to say something that was just when something like that would happen. He was a pastor and a pillar of the community and a very humble Mennonite man, but he had this string of words that he'd put together. And it was nonsensical German words, but they were percussive, which is another thing that we like about swearing, like F's and plosives, strong sounds. We like those. So there's those moments when we say something, when something happens alone, when we say it when there's a group there. But swearing becomes quite a different thing when you tell somebody to F off, right? Or when you use the word in a powerful way to kind of separate yourself from the other person. That becomes quite a different game in a way. And yet, even there, this is so socially kind of constructed, because some friendship groups will say F you to each other all the time.
Right.
And that's actually a term of endearment.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right? So it kind of depends on the situation. Mm-hmm. I think the last thing I'll say is that when we're swearing, there's something there. Swear words often, we're communicating more emotion than the normal way of saying it, right? Mm-hmm. Like, we're having a nice day. Change to, we're having a hell of a nice day. Like that, I mean, that's a positive use of the word hell, which is, of course, ironic and everything. Mm-hmm. But it puts more emotion into what I mean to say, right? And so, yeah, for somebody who's actually thinking of sort of stopping or wondering why this happens, it's like, what's beneath that? Like, so, go to therapy. No, I mean, yeah, but like, what's beneath that? I mean, swearing is like any kind of emotional outlet. Like, what's behind this? Frustration, anger, glee, right? Like, there can be all kinds of different emotions that are there, and we're finding words to express them.
Yeah. That's good advice, to be thinking about, like, what is unique about the spaces where you do find yourself swearing more.
Yeah.
And thinking, like, what is my emotional state here? Am I doing this to fit in with a group of people around me?
Yes.
Because everyone else kind of expresses their emotions in the same way. Yeah. And I also want to ask, so this person feels convicted to try and reduce the amount of swearing that they're doing, and I totally honor that conviction and want to curse less.
Yeah.
I also know there are probably people listening that do enjoy cursing.
Yeah.
So what would you have to say about the morality or good or bad nature of cursing for people who do find it and say, well, I'm not hurting anybody from it.
Right.
What would you say to them if they're in a state where they're like, okay, I hear this, but I don't want to stop swearing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I there's a part of me that agrees with that.
Yeah.
Because swearing is cathartic. I mean, in the same way before that I said that we're expressing more emotion. Often, when we use a swear word, we're expressing a frustration, anger, happiness. We can be expressing a lot of different things. And especially if it's a really negative emotion, like, again, something happens and maybe not an immediate thing, like my glass falling on the floor and shattering. But I mean, it's pretty well known in the literature that people who have cancer swear more. People who have cancer and have a diagnosis of cancer and are going through it swear more. And it's partly because they are now at a place of life and death. And again, amygdala.
Right.
We're at a place where life feels threatened and where the stakes are high, and they're going to express that. Now, again, that doesn't have to come out in a swear word, but a good solid swear word does pretty amazing things to our body. There would be other ways to do that too. But singing actually does almost the same thing. Or singing along with one of your favorite, pop or rock or country group. Like all of these things have ways of expressing our feelings that, and again, there's all kinds of, a good swear word or singing a good song that really expresses that. There's all kinds of great things happening in your spine and in your brain, and it is cathartic. Like it has a way of handling, or once you're expressing the feelings that you really have deep down, you feel better. So and this is not helpful maybe for the person who wants to stop swearing, but again, I would say digging down into why that is, or why you're expressing it that way, or what's beneath this, right? Maybe the swearing is just a symptom of the anger that you have, or the easy way that you get frustrated or something.
Okay, final question to do with this topic.
Yeah.
Do you think Jesus swore?
That is such a good question. And I just said that to stall a little bit.
Because he uses a lot of strong language at different times.
Yeah, he does.
Very, very, very forward with his words, very direct.
Yeah, he is, yeah. Well, I would, the first place I'd go would be woe unto you. Whoa. And I don't know what that sounds like in Greek. And that's pretty strong language. It's so hard to know when we look back in history. It's even hard to know 500 years ago. Although we know more about what 500 years ago looks like than what happens 2,000 years ago. We don't really know a lot about what were used as swear words and what weren't. But you can you use the term strong language. And you can look back and notice, well, where does it seem like there's strong language here? And the woe unto you is pretty direct.
Yeah.
Jesus is pretty direct. This is for sure. But that culture, as we've come to understand it, is very direct culture. It's much more direct than English speaking people in North America.
Right. I like that answer.
Yeah.
I like that answer. So we have our first story here. This comes from, we were just talking about cursing. This comes from the subreddit, AmItheAsshole. So this is where people are putting their stories online to say, hey, I don't know if I'm in the wrong for this.
Right.
So please tell me whether or not I'm in this situation.
Yeah.
So the title for this one is, Am I the for not inviting a religious girl with me for lunch because she always makes it difficult on the employees? She's really nice and sweet, but she's very religious and has very specific dietary rules. My friend group went out for lunch a few times. She came along. She didn't just have simple requests like no lettuce. She had really complicated questions and instructions for the people cooking. She wanted to know the ingredients for different sauces. She wanted to know if they used the same grill for one meat and all the others. She asked them to clean their utensils so that there would be no contact. You get the idea. And then there's this little edit that's added in. Sorry if this was unclear. These are things that she had to ask for because of religious rules. She can't have any contact with certain meats, so that can include asking the employees to clean off their knives and such so that there are no remnants of it. And then they say, I got secondhand embarrassment from that. Eventually, she asked me if we were going to lunch, and I said, not this week, on 2 separate weekends. When she found out that we had gone out without her, she confronted me. I basically told her that I got secondhand embarrassment from how much extra work the religious rules gave the employees. She said, I basically told her that I got secondhand embarrassment from how much extra work the religious rules gave the employees. She said, you could have at least told me that, and maybe we could have gone to a place where everything's allowed for me. I might be an asshole for lying, maybe not, because I was trying not to be rude. Am I the asshole?
Wow.
Yeah?
That's quite a story. Yeah. Now, I guess I would probably start with asking her some more questions, or whoever is writing this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we refer to the person who wrote the post as OP.
OP, okay.
OP, original poster.
OP.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. And this kind of thing happens more and more as what's lovely about this is that OP has a friend who's different than everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
She's they're expanding their horizons here a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good question. I really like just to go to I hope not to go to a quick solution here, but I love this idea though of going to a place where this religious person just knows the place and knows the menu and knows knows how the food is handled, right?
Yeah.
Like I have friends who interrogate places, like who have allergies of various kinds, and who phone ahead to any restaurant that we go to make sure that there are no peanuts or no other, like whatever it is. And then once we get there, they also ask again. But this person does it first on the phone or in person if we're sort of there at a conference or something. But then when we get there, it's not a conversation that happens at the table. It's a conversation that my friend has very specifically with the chef.
Okay.
And the wait staff and our waiter. Right. So it's not, so what it would handle the second, what was it called? The embarrassment.
Oh, secondhand embarrassment.
Secondhand embarrassment. Yeah.
Yeah. I just think it's interesting to have these feelings of secondhand embarrassment when someone's just asking specific questions about the food. Yeah. Because I think like if it were an allergy, I don't think OP would have as much of a problem with it.
Right.
The beginning mention of she's very religious and has very specific dietary rules, and then editing in to add it's because of religious rules. It seems like it's the religious rules that they have a problem with more than anything. And I might be making an assumption there. Yeah. But I think, like if it was an allergy, I don't think there would be as much pushback about it. And I think, I find it surprising that this was bad enough that this person was intentionally excluded from going to lunch with this group of people.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I said before that OP is lucky to have a diverse group of friends, but maybe that's the problem.
That's a good question.
Right? Maybe that's the problem. Question. And yeah.
I do wonder what the other people in the group have to say about that.
Yeah. Because I wonder. Yeah, the secondhand embarrassment assumes that other people are also sort of uncomfortable with this. Could be that other people aren't at all uncomfortable with this, right?
Right. So on the subreddit, Am I the Asshole? There's often a verdict that's given after enough people have responded. So the verdict for this story is you're the asshole.
Yeah. Okay.
saying to this person, hey, you messed up. This is not on the person you're having the confrontation with. This is on you. And one of the comments we have about this is, you're the asshole. You felt embarrassed because she was making sure her dietary needs could be met, so you lied to her and excluded her. As a rule of thumb, if you're lying to someone to make yourself feel better, then you're an asshole. So pointing out the specific fact that that the OP actually said, oh, we're not going this week, and intentionally left her out of the situation.
Oh, I don't think I heard that. I don't think I heard that clearly before, that she was actually lied to. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a problem.
So that's another level of issue there.
Right.
Beyond the secondhand embarrassment.
Right.
And another comment we have is, you're the asshole. She has to ask these things to make sure her food is not in contact with utensils that handled forbidden food. I have Jewish and Muslim friends that do this, and it's not a big deal. Usually they'll ask where we plan to order from beforehand, and they call the place themselves to make sure they have options, even if it's vegetarian. Even if she's not embarrassed, why are you? If it bothers you so much, why not ask her ahead of time if she has suggestions for places where it's safe for her to eat, or give her the name of the place you plan on going a few days ahead so she can call them.
There you go.
And also this question of, is it only you that's embarrassed?
Yeah.
Really, really asking, like, if she's not embarrassed about this, then there's not really a good reason for OP to be embarrassed. Yeah. So what advice might you have for OP in getting over this secondhand embarrassment from religious dietary rules and getting over that feeling?
Wow. Therapy again? No, I mean, but this is a good question though. Like, this is a good thing to notice about oneself. And I'm talking about me and you and everybody else. What is it that embarrasses us, and why? Right? Why does this embarrass OP and maybe not some other things? Right? And it's not so much a judgmental question as it is just self-awareness. Yeah. Right?
Like, if we're walking down this path, I kind of, like, I'm thinking now about, if they're experiencing secondhand embarrassment, why might that be? Why is it that expressing her needs makes OP feel uncomfortable? Yeah. And it might be more speaking to an internal feeling of, well, I feel like I can't ask for my own needs to be met, so I'm embarrassed by watching somebody else have their own needs met. But I think therapy would be a good option for this situation. I think you're right. Yeah.
But another thing too is, I have friends who regularly had a Muslim, like they were friends with a Muslim couple, the people, they were neighbors. And these Christian friends of mine, they decided to have their Muslim friends over for supper one night, and it continued, and it still goes on. But it took a long time for them to figure it out. Like, how do we make our Christian kitchen?
Right.
What are the steps we take? And there was a lot of information, especially the first time they did it. So my friend Jim is a cook, and he was like chatting with them a lot before he made supper for them. And he said, it took a lot of time and all those kinds of things, but he learned so much, and the relationship is so good. And, they go to their friend's place for supper too. And it's a learning experience, but this is what kind of learning we could be doing with each other.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, being with people who live differently than you, I mean, it's a blessing.
Yeah.
It's a blessing. Yeah. All right. So moving on, we are going to play a little game called Make It Theological. So I have a few stories that I've picked out, and I think you'll enjoy this game. So I'm going to tell you the story, and then I want you, and I might have some ideas too, to come up with a way that we would incorporate this story into a sermon. Okay. So I have 3 different stories here.
Oh, I'm ready for this.
Yeah, and we'll try to see how can we insert these stories, make them theological, put them in a sermon some way. What would the story tell us?
All right.
So the first story comes from one of my favorite subreddits, which is PointlessStories. The title is, oh, I'm so excited for this story. I finally tasted communion wafers today. As someone that grew up in a non-religious family, I have been curious about communion wafers. I'd seen them in films and movies, and people often dislike eating them. Whenever I read about them in a book, I would imagine them being comparable to sugar wafers, so the waffly shaped ones with layers. I went on Amazon and saw that it's rather cheap to buy a box. I went ahead and bought a small box as a sampler. They're really plain, but I found them enjoyable with some lemon curd. Is it sacrilegious to snack on these? I would rate the flavor a 3 out of 10 stars.
Okay.
It's not terrible, but it's like a light bread with hints of cardboard. The texture is a solid 5 of 10 stars, crisp yet slightly stale in a pleasant way. Side note, I didn't have any red wine to drink with it, but I did get some boxed white wine. I like to think this represents the white blood cells of God. And that is our first story.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about how that's theological, or are you going to do all the stories and then we'll talk?
No, we'll talk about this one.
Okay,
I do want to clarify first about what communion wafers are.
Okay, sure.
I mean, I think that the story pretty much described them very well.
Right.
They're these like circles, and they kind of taste like light bread with hints of cardboard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do.
But they are used as an easy way of serving communion in churches, especially like during COVID when people were nervous about handling like real bread and being all up close with each other. There would be like little plastic cups of like grape juice, and then there'd be a little communion wafer on top. But it's really just for ease, and I mean they're easy. They're put together already, and this person was very curious. They had never seen them before and wanted to try them. But I love this review, and I love the passion for it. I just thought the story was so great. Do you have any thoughts before we dive into the theological components of this?
Oh, I'm ready to dive in.
All right, let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go.
Well, first of all, I mean, it's food.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, food is deeply, we need food or we die, and we need water or we die. And I care deeply and care theologically about the about the Bible. No, about the body.
We care about the Bible too.
Yeah,
The body.
I mean, so much of Western history, not all of it, but a lot of it has really denied the body and seen the body as somehow lesser than our brains, for instance. And I really deeply appreciate my body and all the other bodies around me. And so food, right? So I've said this before, I think you've heard this, but you know, when all the great theologians and biblical scholars here are looking into the Bible, or looking for morality or ethics or how to follow Jesus or covenant or like big themes, right? I'm always looking for food. Like I'm looking for who's eating with who and what they're eating. And because there's so much drama that happens around the table, right? You prepare a table for me in the presence of mine enemies, right? There's something there. And then, you know, Esau and Jacob and Isaac at the table, and Rebecca standing off, controlling the table. There's so many great table stories. And so this, I'm going to jump ahead now, but this would fit in very well with any kind of food sermon, right? Because and you can kind of make most sermons into food sermons if you want, because there's food everywhere in the Bible. That was an overstatement, but no, I mean, I just preached a food sermon recently, or a sermon that had food in it. And I just think that it's, I love this story. And I love that, I mean, what's beautiful about it is it's funny and it's true, because it is cardboard and it is 3 out of 10. And it's a non-communion event, right? Like it's taking something that's quite sacred, but putting it in a totally different context. Like, I don't think the story is blasphemous or or sacrilegious in any way. This is somebody with curiosity about what this tastes like, and they figure it out, all right, and even give it the kind of restaurant review of it. Yeah.
So a sermon about curiosity and food.
It's a sermon about curiosity and food and finding something. It'd be interesting. I mean, it'd be interesting too it'd be a retelling of the story and making up a story, but what's it like to share that with somebody then, right?
Yeah. This excitement about this light bread with a hint of cardboard.
Yeah.
But that isn't interesting. The sharing of the meal.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But it lines up with all kinds of other stories too, where we taste test food, or we go to the fridge at 2 a.m. and find something. Like, it's one of those beautiful stories of I think we've all had this experience where there's something out there that we've always wondered what it tastes like.
Yeah, that's true.
And sort of then finding it. And finding it a little disappointing, and yet also making a story of it makes it funny.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Awesome. All right. Are you ready to move on to our next story?
Let's do that. Food again or not?
All right. There is food in this one too,
Okay.
as well. Do you count coffee as food? Does coffee count as food? Okay.
Well, sort of.
Sort of.
Sort
Okay.
of, yeah.
So this story comes from Today I Effed Up, where people just talk about ways they've messed up.
Yeah.
The title is, Today I Messed Up by Mixing Up My Coffee Mug and My Paint Cup. Spent the morning painting the trim in my kitchen because apparently I thought I was a professional decorator after watching one YouTube video.
Nice.
I had my coffee sitting right next to the cup where I was rinsing my brushes. Yes, I know, rookie mistake. I was playing on my phone between coats, feeling productive and proud of myself, until my brain decided to betray me. Without thinking, I grabbed the wrong cup and took a big sip.
Oh, yeah.
Instant regret.
Oh.
Bitter, chemical, disgusting regret. My tongue went numb, my soul left my body for a second, and I immediately started spitting into the sink like a panicked raccoon. I spent the next 10 minutes Googling, will acrylic paint kill me, and debating whether to call poison control or just accept my new fate as a cautionary tale. I'm fine now, just slightly humiliated. My coffee's ruined, and my kitchen still isn't finished because I needed an hour to recover from my own stupidity. I love the artistic flair that this story has.
It's told very well.
I feel like I'm there. I feel like I was watching them experience this.
Yeah. That's good.
Is this a mistake you've ever made? Drinking from the wrong cup?
Well, just yesterday,
Really?
I went to the fridge and I was looking for my strawberry yogurt, and I got it out of the fridge, and it was in a strawberry yogurt thing too. And I went into it with a spoon, put a little bit it didn't quite look right, but I'm like, yeah, whatever. And put it into a little bowl and just started eating. Like, I was just kind of hungry and wanted it. Like, I just started eating it. And it was old, bad coconut milk.
Oh my gosh.
And it was awful. And I spit it into the sink, and
like a panicked raccoon?
It was a panicked raccoon.
Okay.
So I understand that.
Yeah.
I've also gone to get my toothpaste and put it on my toothbrush and discovered that it was some sort of lotion. Because sometimes I have lotion in the same... Anyways, so these things happen. I think, humility. Oh, yeah.
That's good.
I mean, humility. But, and what's beautiful is that the story is told. Like, that's key, because one can hide these stories or one can tell them. And I mean, there would be a way of telling them that would be kind of braggy too, but I think the way this person's worded it, it's like, this is good stuff. And what I love about a story like that is that it it's not just that person's humanity and humility. It's all of us, because we all do things like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a surprise, and it's comical, and yeah, it's good. So in a sermon, I mean, I don't advocate for preachers to tell a lot of stories about their lives, but because the congregation doesn't want to hear that. They don't want to hear stories about you all the time, especially where you're the hero of a story. And I think we say enough about ourselves. We reveal enough about ourselves in our regular preaching that we don't actually even have to tell stories about ourselves. But once in a while, it's not a bad idea to tell a story like this.
Yeah.
If it fits with the text and the theme and so on, as a way of just saying, you know what, like, this is me.
It's a very humanizing story.
It's a humanizing story.
Listen, I messed up today.
Yeah.
I did something really dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's what I did.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's good. All right, are you ready for story number 3?
Story number 3. Let me have it.
Story number 3 also comes from PointlessStories. This title is Prayer That Went Wrong, Not a Religious Story. Growing up, I went to a church where when the pastor is praying, everyone else responds in agreement like, yes, Father. Weird, I know, but that's the point of the story, which I don't think that's a weird thing to do, to respond like that in prayer, but that's what OP has said here. One time, I attended a service with my grandmother, and she recognized the pastor. She told me he was from her hometown. Now, the thing is, we live in a country with more than 170 languages. There would be services in the national language, as the one we were attending, and a different service time for the local language version. My grandmother's hometown spoke the national language and 2 others. During prayers, the minister wanted to ask God for blessings, but it seems he forgot the word for blessings in the national language, so he used his own language for the word and said, "Dear God, we pray that you would grant us abundant warts." And I heard the entire congregation respond, "Please no, Father."
That's good. Abundant warts.
Abundant warts.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of good things recognized in the story. For one thing, I love a congregation that's using multiple languages in their services. But I know with that, there's always the reality that there's going to be little mess ups like that, and we're going to accidentally ask God to give us warts.
And did just to remember it correctly, the congregation said no to
please no, Father.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So instead of saying yes, Father, Father,
right.
please no, Father.
Well, that's a church that's listening. Wow.
That is true.
That is true. They are listening.
That's a good indication.
So the yes, Lord, is not just an automatic thing. There's some. There's some.
It's intentional.
Some real responses.
They're really listening. Yeah.
Real responses going on there. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that how you would incorporate that into a sermon? It's just talking about listening and being alert.
Yeah,
to
being alert.
Happening.
Yeah, these are the people I was talking about earlier when I said I'm looking at the people who are going to react. And in a lot of the spaces I preach in, I don't get verbal responses, but I do get facial expressions that help me along. So what I'm curious about, did this preacher, did he know what was going on? Hey, we don't know that, do we?
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know.
I would think there would be enough, maybe even laughter or something, and just to hear the no, like I would hope the preacher's listening, no, Lord, no, and then, what did I say? What happened here, right?
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
I'm sure, I know you said at the beginning that you don't get much negative feedback.
Yeah.
I bet there would be, maybe not like hateful feedback, just kind of, hey,
did you know?
You misspoke here. I don't know if you were aware of that. Yeah.
We have something called Pastors Week here, which is where like 170 or so pastors come here in January,
Yeah,
February,
February.
February, and I've been asked to do the entertainment
Mm-hmm.
on the Wednesday night banquet, and what that's going to be is, and I'll arrange for this beforehand, and we'll have some volunteers, but it's stories of pastoral bloopers, right?
Oh,
Like
that's
times when
awesome.
pastors have said or done something that's just, yeah, it's embarrassing. It's like there was some kind of misunderstanding. Often they're comical, or they may not be in the moment, but
Right,
after
right.
in a week or so or in a few days, they are quite comical.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've misspoken. I can't remember exact ones, but I've misspoken some words at certain points, and people are like, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's fun. Well, thank you for participating in this game of Make It Theological. If you would like to use any of these stories in your sermons, feel free to. I think there's a lot that we can learn from these people who've messed up in different ways or
Yeah.
just had some fun stories to share. Excitement about communion
Yes.
wafers.
Yeah.
That was definitely my favorite story.
No,
Is the
that's a good
communion
one.
wafers. Yeah. Well, thank you for playing that game with me. All right, moving on to another question. This is from Askapastor subreddit, and the title is just question. Hi, pastor, or anyone who is reading. Why isn't God answering my prayers? And I actually mean it. I feel completely abandoned by him and alone because he never answers me no matter what I ask for. It feels like there's a wall in between me and God. I know as a fact that God doesn't act like this, and I want help. I know he's there, but I'm freaking out because I know Jesus is coming back soon, and I'm not saved because I struggle with it no matter how hard I try to get saved. Someone please help me, and I'm desperate. This has been going on for months, and I need answers. So we have some need for pastoral care here.
Yeah.
This person's feeling a lot of things about their faith and about their experience trying to talk to God and connect with God. Do you have any initial thoughts about this?
Well, first of all, that story is part of my story.
Yeah.
Um, for the longest time, as a child of 10 to 12, and then in my teen years, I felt very much the same way, like that I was inadequate, and that, I mean, I grew up in a world where there was a lot of end of the world, Jesus is coming back,
Mm-hmm.
Hal
Mm-hmm.
Lindsey, the late great planet Earth, a whole movement in evangelical circles where Jesus was coming back soon. And I wasn't going with them because I was not a good Christian, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and for me it was the love, a recognition at around age 16, 17 of the amazing kind of love of my friends who were in the church, and with that a kind of less judgment from
Mm-hmm.
friends about Christianity. Like I think that there's so much information out there about what Christianity is, and some of it's great and some of it is not great.
Mm-hmm.
And um one of the things, I think Brian McLaren said this years ago, that we're expected, he said, society or other Christians expect us to have all the answers to everything and to feel totally secure and everything the moment we become Christian, or even 2 years later. And he's like, no, you don't have to feel that.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah.
you don't have to try to answer all the big questions about this faith. Um, just know that God loves you
Mm-hmm.
and live with that. And yeah,
Hmm.
there's a there's a line from a Paul Tillich sermon. It's a sermon called "You Are Accepted,"
Hmm.
and it's just this. There's a riff at the end. Um, you are accepted. I wish I had it memorized. Do not do anything. Do not plan anything. Do not intend anything. you are accepted, right? It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that does really counter. I know, like OP saying, I'm freaking out because I know Jesus is coming back soon and
Yeah.
I'm not saved.
Yeah.
Because I struggle with it no matter how hard I try to get saved. So that message of you are accepted.
Yeah.
It's really powerful.
Yeah.
It's really powerful. Yeah.
You know, I lived in Jamaica for a year when I was like 18 and 19, and I went to church a lot. Jamaicans go to church a lot, or they did in my community. And there was always an altar call, whether it was Sunday morning or Sunday evening or Wednesday evening. Again, we had lots of church. And what broke my heart so many times was there was one old man who always went forward. He always went forward for salvation. And I wondered what that was about. There is a doctrine of the church that some churches takes more seriously than others, and it's a doctrine which is called the assurance of salvation. And this is part of my family tree. My mother grew up in the Old Colony Mennonite Church in Canada, where one of the primary theologies is that you don't know, that you can't know if you're saved.
Wow.
And I think, how depressing is that?
Yeah.
Like, well, we could do some mining or some deep diving to find out what that is, but is it because you just have to be so good to sort of overcome that feeling or that sense that you can never know? But I think that plays out in my own life, and I certainly see it play out in my mom and her siblings' lives. This kind of low or even high grade anxiety. And I think at the bottom of that, they don't feel assured of God's love for them, which is really tragic.
Yeah. And I think like for me, I see a relationship with Jesus and the idea of being saved. So much of it is supposed to be about freedom and experiencing the love of Jesus through his actions and through what we read in the Bible and through this feeling of acceptance. And I think it really takes away when you're really struggling with that idea of, am I really saved? You're not able to experience that freedom and that joy that's supposed to come from Jesus.
Yeah.
So it's really difficult.
Yeah.
It's really difficult. And I would say to this person, if I could talk directly to this person, I would love to talk directly to this person because I think they should talk to someone about it. I know going to ask a pastor is a step in kind of admitting these are the feelings I'm having, but I think building a community and being around other people who might feel the same way, or maybe people who do feel confident in their salvation and confident in talking to God. I mean, having those people surrounding them is very, very important. Yeah. Any other comments?
Well,
about that?
I mean, talking later to friends of mine who grew up in the same milieu, kind of in this, maybe the same church, but same general theology. Yeah, I mean, as we look back on it, it's like, oh, we would have loved to talk to each other about this then. But nobody was brave enough, or we were just, we were afraid to say what we really wanted to say. And maybe the church leaders were afraid to really say that, simply that God loves you and accepts you and wants to grow with you. That may have been too, I don't know, not fundamentalist enough, or not, I don't know, right?
Yeah.
But maybe the judgment thing was more important in parenting and in all kinds of other ways.
Yeah. Well, I hope this OP has found a community and can work through some of that, because that's a tough spot to be in. For sure.
Yeah.
All right. Are you ready for our last question
I think I am.
of the day?
Yeah.
All right, this is a little bit of a lighter note to end on here. This also comes from Ask a Pastor. The question is, do pastors ever get tired of shaking hands?
Oh,
As someone who can get pretty overwhelmed with people and people needing me, how do pastors accept that position of responsibility and also stress of holding this many people up? I understand prayer, but as a human, how do you deal with the pressure?
Wow.
Yeah. And this question of, do pastors ever get tired of shaking hands? And I think this
Interesting.
is really asking, like, how are you available for so many people? If you
Mm-hmm.
have a larger congregation,
Yeah.
how do you handle that
Yeah.
pressure, that stress of the language of holding so many people up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, my first response to this is that the pastor needs to take a day or two off a week. Like, you have to do that. And it has to be a day or two, like whatever. I mean, it has to be like at least 24 hours.
Okay, so not like the afternoon on Sunday.
No.
A whole other day.
Sunday afternoons do not count.
Yeah.
And even Sunday evening probably doesn't count because Sunday is very busy. There's a lot of work that's happening Sunday. Emotional load, including preaching and maybe teaching Sunday school. There's a lot of emotional load Sunday morning. We've compressed all of church into 2 hours Sunday morning, or 3 hours, and then we expect so much from everybody, including the pastor. So take a day off. And I remember one church sort of insisting, well, we've always had this meeting on Monday night and you need to be there. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to be there.
Yeah.
And one of my friends, she said she'd get a call. First few months, she got a call from somebody on Monday evening. Because, well, you've had your 24 hours off. Like, church was finished at, potluck was finished at 2. So you've had more than 24 hours. Like, no. Like, so this is one of the boundary setting things that's so important for pastors. And there's one graduate who you may know who from here who he takes 2 days off a week, and his church knows that. And I think it's Monday, Tuesday. I can't remember what it is, but he takes 2 days off a week, and church knows that. So setting those boundaries so that you can do something entirely different on that day, whether it's reading or skiing or hiking or yard work, I don't know, but that is your day. Yeah. Because you have to have that. I mean, one of the things that pastors work with is, I mean, there are introverts and extroverts. A lot of pastors I know are more on the introverted side, actually. And so extroverts have a bit of an advantage in sort of being with people all the time and getting energy from that. Introverts don't. We're happy to use our energy in lots of social situations, and then we also need to crash. Right. Not crash, but be alone in the evening or do our hobbies or hang out with the family, right? So knowing the extent to which you're an introvert or extrovert is really important, and to sort of watch those things.
And I think too, I mean, I know like a lot of this post is specifically addressing the overall responsibility of being a pastor. Yeah. But I think looking directly at that question, do pastors ever get tired of shaking hands? And I know myself being introverted, that idea of shaking hands person after person after person on a Sunday morning after preaching, which is already very energy exerting. I can understand that. I mean, I would imagine that's a lot. And I really do wonder how pastors who are introverted are able to do that if they have a congregation with a lot of people. Yeah, just trying to keep up their social battery for long enough.
Yeah, they're probably just more exhausted Sunday afternoons.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or they're ready to do something that's just, they're just, leave me alone. Yeah. Right? But, the shaking hands thing this is an interesting thing, that this is the way it's worded, because on the one hand, the shaking of the hands on the line after church, there are parts of it that I love because you actually get to see some people and so on. But then there are parts of it that are just socially awkward because people feel like, oh, they have to shake the pastor's hand, but I don't have anything to say, so I'm just going to say thank you for that or whatever. In a way it's substantial, in a way not. I'd rather not do it though. Like I'd rather not shake people's hands. And if people want to come up to me after church and so on, then do it. And so on. But,
Yeah.
you know, but to address another part of this, like I think that the pastors don't have sole responsibility for the church.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, there's the Holy Spirit. let's get
Right.
honest about that. This is God's church, not my church. And also, people have their own personal responsibility. That's true. And then also, as a pastor, I wouldn't be a pastor if there weren't a really good structure part of it. Like there are elders or deacons, and then there's a church council, and then there's people who are working in Sunday school and worship. It is, obviously the pastor may have a kind of coordinating role in some of those things. In some cases, the pastor is actually on the chair of committees or not, but you're really involved with other people.
Right.
It's not a 1 or 2 or 3 person show,
right?
Yeah. And I've always, I did my best ministry in a team where there were actually 3 or even 4 of us. And I wasn't the lead pastor. That's another thing to discover about yourself as a pastor is, you know, am I cut out to be a lead pastor or am I better suited for associate pastor? I did the lead pastor thing for a while. I'm much more happy with associate pastor. And that takes some of the pressure off. But really the thing that quote, takes the pressure off of being the person responsible for the church is God.
Right.
And the mission of the church itself. And yeah, the colleagues, whether they're paid colleagues or the elders, church council. And if that is all functioning in a relatively healthy way, then I think the pastor is free from that kind of emotional overload and work overload and free to really serve the church.
Yeah.
That's the best scenario.
I know I've visited a lot of churches and I found some of the best churches, the healthiest churches that I've visited are the ones where like I might show up and I'm watching the sermon, just kind of watching the people do their different roles, and if I can't tell who the lead pastor is, like it feels like a healthy church because it's this group of people that are working together and they're not putting all this pressure and looking to the lead pastor every time something happens to say, all right, how are we responding to this? What's supposed to happen now? But there is this community element. And yeah, so like when I'm in a service and kind of observing a church and I can't tell who the lead pastor is, I usually take that as a good sign for a healthy church. Yeah, because it is just so much of the community working together. Yeah. Well, that was our last question for today. How do you feel about Reddit now? Just based on what you've experienced from these different subreddits, what is your impression of Reddit now?
Well, I want to go to some of these subreddits and read some more.
Okay.
Right.
I think one that stuck out that I was going to say you should look at more is the Today I Effed Up subreddit.
No, that's good.
Because there is so much. I mean, that the whole subreddit is people being humble and talking about the ways they've messed up every day. So that's definitely a good one.
I have a friend in Ontario. He's an entrepreneur, organizer of people. He's a strong networker in profits and nonprofits. And he does a thing once a year in Kitchener, Ontario called F Up Nights, only they use the whole word. And it's people telling stories in their businesses or in their entrepreneur life of how they messed up. And how they learned something. It's really interesting. And
That's awesome.
There's like 200 people there. Like it's really well attended.
Huh. I could see that being a place. It's very cathartic and very much. I mean, it makes you would leave feeling good about yourself and just kind of being like, wow, we're all just trying to be humans together and do our work. And
maybe I should change this Pastors Week thing or pastors and leaders to
Yeah.
effed up night for pastors.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That would go over so well. So well. Yeah. Well, thank you for joining me here
It's been a
and
pleasure.
answering some questions and listening to some stories. Thank you for listening to Seminary Reacts. Please leave us a like, a positive review, and comment any questions or stories you would like us to react to. You can find Seminary Reacts on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. See you next time. Bye.